Tom Reilly here.
Tom Reilly with VMI.
We get to hear the Tom Reilly story today.
I think it all comes back to the beginnings with Simpson Labs. No, I'm kidding. Love you guys. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Glad you can come down
Thank
here.
you for coming.
Long
It was a
time
long
coming.
haul.
Yeah, a lot of fun. No, appreciate being here and love the partnership and been exciting working with you guys. I think it's been a lot of fun growing together, doing a lot of new projects and kind of doing them together. So appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you. It's amazing to see how far your brand has come from the
Thanks.
day we met to
Yeah.
where it is today. I mean, can you take us back to the beginning? Like, what actually got you into the supplement industry?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So, I think everyone's got like their inroad into the fitness and health and wellness space. For me personally, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I was working out. I actually started cleaning machines at a gym when I was 15, just trying to make cash, and I wanted to have a gym membership. And so that was sort of my entryway into the fitness world. And fast forward a couple years, you're working out, you're in high school, you want to play sports. And I got out of high school, I got to college. I wasn't going to play a sport in college, but I still wanted to work out. And I was like, man, protein's expensive. I got to figure out how to get a discount. And so I got a job at GNC so that I could get an employee discount on supplements. And that was my entryway into a whole nother world of the fitness and nutrition piece. And so for me, it's sort of humble beginnings. Just wanted a job, just wanted to make some cash and be able to afford protein and creatine and stuff. Back when Nitratech and Celtec were everything to everybody. So it was fun. But for me, it was sort of just the start, right? And I sort of took that GNC opportunity and morphed it into sort of growing with the company and sort of being a retail person in New York and trying to work my way up. And once I realized how big the business was, I actually left retail to go to distribution. And I went to a company called UNFI, which is one of the largest natural food and supplement distributors anywhere. And so that was sort of my entryway into the other side, the health and wellness space, right? And the organic space and all that kind of stuff. So I think that sort of solidified me keeping a career path in the business. You start in the sports nutrition world, migrated to the health and wellness and organic space. And so my eyes were sort of like widened, but man, you're in retail, you can help a customer one at a time and you feel that like passion to help people, right? And you're like so excited about protein and what it can do for you. And then I went into wholesale and I'm like, wow, you can help a whole nother level of people because you're talking to retailers. So it's like, all right, let's pick the good brands, who I'm going to support, products I believe in, I'm going to sell them to stores. Because now you're talking to thousands of people instead of one person at a time. And I was like, you know what? I love this. The distribution side is a larger scale. It's bigger business. It's fun. But I had a passion for the sports nutrition side. So I migrated back to a company called Lone Star Distribution and got back into the sports nutrition space. And that's where I met my business partner, Frank Fenimore. And so that was sort of the beginnings, if you will say, of where VMI came out of. And I worked at Lone Star for several years, and I think I really honed in on my passion for sports nutrition. And I kind of was in a unique position as the national purchasing director for years to kind of sit and see brands and what they did right, what they did wrong. You have to be careful about what you buy, right? You want to make sure it's going to sell. And I always had a passion for finding the best stuff and making stuff that, would be something I would want to take. And so several years later, I actually went to the owners of Lone Star and said, hey, I want to do my own thing. I want to make a brand. I feel like I can do this. I feel like I've got enough education, on the job training, if you will, seeing what other brands do, that I think I can do this. And I'm passionate about it. And in my mind, at the time, I was so passionate because I said, gosh, I've been able to scale my ability to help people and have an effect and an influence on the industry and the business and people's lives with nutrition and supplements. But like, if you're a brand, you have the opportunity to speak to everybody. So it was the widest possible scale you can look at. There's no limit. It's not like you only have a certain number of accounts to call, or you can only work in a store and talk to people in that store. In my mind, I was like, gosh, if I had a brand, I could help everybody. And so obviously, there's a scale to that, but to me, it was like, wow, the possibilities are limitless. I could do this. And I think everyone gets that way, right? You think you can just do anything when you're young. But a few years later, we sort of birthed the brand out of Lone Star. And long story short, it was a really interesting opportunity to be able to get support from those guys that they felt I had the ability to get the brand off the ground, but also huge learning curve for me, right? Because it was something I'd never done. I've never owned my own business. All the things that go with that people don't realize, right? You need capital, you need time, you need resources, you need people, marketing. Anyone can make a product. You got to go sell it, and then it's got to turn. And so I think it was on-the-job training for me that kind of helped me get it started, but that was the evolution of the birth of the brand. And by 2015, Lone Star sold to an equity group, and Frank and I migrated and sort of said, hey, we're going to do this full-time, all eggs in the basket. And so we're over 10 years in now, and it's been a fun ride. I'll say it's been a tough ride, but that's a long story. But started from the bottom, and it's been a lot of fun. And honestly, along the way, I got to meet and work with and develop a lot of great relationships. Obviously, you guys that I consider personal friends, and I think in a lot of businesses, people don't have that authentic relationship where you can give people good news, bad news, but you can still be friends and work together, like we have with Ike, right? And so, yeah, Frank and I have been through a lot, and I think this is really an interesting time at my age and the place in the brand and the trajectory that it's cool to sit back and go, wow, we're doing it. You know, we've made a brand that we can grow and scale with our teammates and our employees and build something special. And I think you never really get a chance early on to think about that stuff because you're in the daily grind and you're kind of just clawing away and just making somebody's trying to eat your lunch and you just got to stay on it. And to now kind of look back and say, wow, this is awesome. You know, we're so lucky to be able to do this. We're not where we want to go, but we've built a business where we're making supplements that help people and we're employing people to do it with us along the way. And so it's been so rewarding to kind of, at this phase in my life at least, to look back and go, wow, we're kind of doing it.
Yeah, you're creating jobs, you're creating careers.
Yeah.
You know, all sorts of additional jobs, not just for the staff members, but all the stores that are carrying your products. Those are additional jobs as well. So
100%.
That's super dope. So your original hero SKU, KXR.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with the name? What does it stand for?
Yeah, you know what? That's an interesting story. I'll give you the abbreviated version if I can. When we started, we actually made a different product with a different name, and we were going to be sued for that by another brand in the business. And so I'll leave that out, but I will say, you know, it forced us to pivot, right? And KXR, actually, the birth of that name is Kinetic Extended Release. And oddly enough, it's a weird explanation, but the original pre-workout before KXR had the letter K in it. And my ideology at the time was so many pre-workouts, it's a headache right away or you crash too early. And I was trying to solve that problem for the customer because all these high-stim pre-workouts, you either went up too fast or came down too fast. And so we ended up using a sort of a tri-blend of different caffeines that would absorb and digest at a different rate, so it was a little smoother. And for us, when we said, okay, we got to pivot because we have a name problem with the product, KXR, Kinetic Extended Release. I kept the K that I felt was sort of the core letter of that initial SKU, but it worked out great because it sort of birthed the item to be what it is today. And I think we've leaned into 3-letter acronyms in a lot of products over the years. But yeah, I think a really bad thing early on forced us to make something that really stands for something, for us anyway, and for the brand and for what the product is supposed to be. So it stands for Kinetic Extended Release, and our ideology with all the versions of KXR is to have these time-release caffeines that you don't get a headache, you don't crash, and sort of you get what you're looking for without the downside.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I mean, so you started with KXR, and then now you've extended it to a bunch of different types of KXR. You want to tell us about the different?
Yeah. I think pre-workout's such a big category, right? And you guys as a manufacturer, I'm sure, make so many of them. And when you look at the business, it's evolved as a category because there's so many types of pre-workouts because people want energy and performance, but they want it in different formats. They want it in high stim, low stim, non-stim. I take it at night. I take it in the morning. And they want different consumption formats. I want it in a powder that I can dry scoop. I want it in a liquid because I'm on the go at the gym. And so as KXR evolved for us, we realized, okay, we're going to make it in different formats for different customers that know our brand name, that know the product name, but maybe they've never tried it because the original KXR was too strong for them. Or that, you know what, I usually buy my pre-workout at the gym. I'd prefer an RTD. And so today, we make KXR in the original powder, which that formula has been the same for years. That is our legacy SKU. and that's our high stim. It's got 400 milligrams of caffeine per scoop, still that tri-blend of caffeine. We have a lower stim sort of sport version, which is our entry level. Then we have the stacked, which is there sitting next to you, and that's our Pez candy collaboration version. That's our performance version. So it's got about 292 milligram blend of caffeine, but that's all in on performance, and that's one of the ones Simpson makes, right? Actually, you guys make all of our KXRs. And that one is really for the athletes. That one is for the guys looking for, I want energy, but I want performance. I want endurance. I want hydration. And so that's the sort of the Mac Daddy of them all. And then we have the RTD. The RTD was probably the biggest surprise for us because beverage in our business, as you guys know, is really, really hard, right? You have to factor shipping. You're shipping liquid. And there's so much that goes into making a beverage. And then you've got to be able to sell it because if you're just selling to stores, they don't move a lot of things in their fridges. You got to have, places like gyms or convenience stores that can move drinks really fast. And so having a distribution background, Frank and I were able to really say, okay, hey, we used to sell a lot of beverage. Let's make our own. And so that was the biggest surprise for us that took KXR to the next level was about 3 years ago or so. We made it in an RTD and we realized, wow, we've got legs as a brand. We've got legs in this item, but this is a whole nother level of consumption format we weren't even tapping into. So the drink for probably 2 years was our fastest growing SKU in doors and dollars. And it's interesting because I think beverage is one of those things people get afraid of because it's really, really hard and it can be really low margin if you're not good at it. But I think we did a really good job taking our time with it, making a SKU that was well-rounded and knowing the distribution network you needed to get it out there. So those are sort of the different formats of KXR, but we've been real lucky. That's certainly our legacy, our flagship, if you will. Yeah, we may have some other formats coming out early next year. We'll see.
All right. Hopefully in powder form.
Yeah. Powder form at Simpson Labs. Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Well, very cool. Well, yeah, I mean, all your different genres, your creatines, your aminojex, EAAs, your KXRs, you've launched this awesome project with Pez.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did that collaboration come about?
It's funny. So Don has always talked to us about doing different ideas and licensing deals. And obviously we wanted to look at it and say, okay, if we're going to pursue a collaboration with anyone or a license deal even, it really had to be someone that aligned with our brand, as much as those brands want you to align with them. And generally, if you go find a brand like that, they may be a bigger CPG brand than you. But for us, being authentic and right, like we're in the Real is Rare gym here today, right? Like for me, that authenticity is so important because there's a lot of licenses available. There's a lot. But as much as people think there's a lot out there, there's still a lot available. But it's finding one that you can align with. They want to have a messaging that they feel good about, but you have to too. You have to know that your demographic and your customers are going to resonate with that. And so Pez had actually been with another brand, and that deal fell through. That brand went away. And I was like, you know what? Pez is available. Let's talk to them. They were a Northeast company. We're a Northeast company. They have a lot of nostalgia. We felt good about that grassroots. People really recognize it, and it has brand staying power. And so when we first had a conversation and presented them sort of our brand deck and they gave us their shtick, it was like almost an immediate, we had a bond. We could say, okay, we're seeing the same thing here, right? We have sort of the similar values. We're in a good direction. We're all about quality. That's why we make stuff at Simpson. And I think they appreciated that because they didn't want to have a brand in our business who wasn't above par, who wasn't doing the right thing. And I think they were coming out of a bad experience, which really allowed us to say, hey, we do things totally different. We're above par across the board. This can be a good fit. And I think, too, they liked the idea that we were willing to take Pez and really widen the scope because a lot of licenses in our business, they're product specific or flavor specific, right? So someone will have a license deal and they'll look at it and say, hey, we're going to do this product for this one flavor. I told Pez, hey, we're all in on this. We're going to do multiple flavors of Pez, but we're going to do it for multiple products. So from their perspective, they're like, wow, this is great. It's the first license VMI is doing, and they're going to go really wide with us. And so they knew we're putting our eggs in their basket. They were very accommodating to us. They got us our back approvals real quick. It just became a really good relationship, and we have some good agencies that work on both sides that are able to help us get through that. But yeah, it honestly started with Frank and I talking to Don for several years about doing license stuff. And we took our time finding the right partner. And it was good that we did because this was the best possible fit for us today.
Yeah, you guys
And
nailed
we've
it.
we've been super lucky. Well, you guys nailed it. You guys make most of it. So, in my mind, it was a big gamble to get into the license space, but we knew that's where the industry was already at. And so it was like, you know what, you don't want to be responsive, but if you're going to be responsive, at least do it right.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a great decision for us. We've been super blessed to be able to get it out there in multiple formats and multiple products and multiple flavors. And I think that diversity is allowing retailers to say, hey, we're going to get behind the Pez line as opposed to the Pez product. You know, if you make a product and we just did Pez grape in an amino, it's a little limiting. But if someone comes into a store and they have nostalgic candy fan customers, hey, VMI's got Pez in 3 flavors in 3 different products. Now you can bring that customer into that fold multiple ways. And so I think it creates opportunity for the retailer. It certainly makes Pez happy that we're branding their assortment into our assortment. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. I actually remember the day you called me and you told me you were going to do the Pez license.
Do you? That's
And
pretty
yeah,
funny.
I do. And I looked over my shoulder and on my desk up on the top, I had a bunch of different Pez.
Yes, you texted
Remember
me a
that?
picture.
Yeah,
Yes,
I had a
yes.
bunch of different Pez flavors.
That's
So
pretty
I'm like,
funny.
dude, let's do this. So
Yeah.
as soon as you gave me the thumbs up,
Yeah.
I took all the samples, went and bought some more.
Yeah.
I sent them down to our innovation team,
Yeah.
and I shit you not, within 5 business days, I think we already sent you the first round.
You know
of
what?
Pez
You guys
flavors.
did, and it's funny because I remember telling Frank, I'm going to see what you guys can mock us up. And he's like, how fast do we need it? He's like, you call Eric, I'll call Don. I'm like, all right, slow down. And now you guys obviously are so accommodating and such great partners, all jokes aside. But that really was one of those things where we told Pez as one of the selling points, we could move fast.
Yeah.
And we can move fast because Simpson will move fast. And that really, I think, was, at least from my perspective, a key point in us getting jumped off with them was they were like, wow, you got samples turned around already, because they had to flavor approve all these.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
Yeah.
all the time when we do these license agreements, it's not just you, the brand owner, that has
Right.
to approve it. The licensed brand owners have to approve it too. And I don't recall them shooting back.
No,
any
you know what's
negative-
interesting, and it sounds
negative
funny,
feedback.
right? Like we're all excited to work together, and everyone says positive things. But you know, podcast or no podcast, the funny thing is, I'm on the phone with the CEO of Pez and his team and our agencies, and so Christian is his name, great guy, and he said, and his assistant Beth, it's something to the effect of, "Man, these are really good. How'd you get them to taste so good?" I don't think they could believe that we were able to make, and Simpson was able to make, products that didn't have sugar and weren't candy taste so good. And I think that really kudos to you guys, but we delivered on what we said we were going to do for them. We were going to make a really great product that was nostalgic and authentic to their brand. And I think they were almost shocked, right? Because they hadn't experienced that before.
Yeah.
Not just the speed, but like the accuracy. They're like, wow, this grape is really good.
Good.
So it was exciting. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of back and forth really on anything, any flavor. So I think that was kudos to them for being accommodating, but I think they were shocked at the quality you guys were able to pump out at such speed. And that's part of the business, right? You know, you got to be fast and you got to be good, and it's hard to do both.
You got to be able to accept negative criticism as well, because obviously we can't, improve to get it to where it needs to be to par
if we don't know.
without getting the proper feedback.
100%,
Don't tell us what we want to hear. Tell us what you want, and we'll fix it for you. So
100%. Yeah.
that's great.
No, so the license thing, Don had been telling us for years, and I'm so glad he egged us on to do it.
Me too.
And I think, it was just luck of the draw. We picked the right one. Glad they accepted us. We got super lucky, and it's been a fun ride. And we're looking at some others right now.
It's a door opener. I mean, there's so many different, flavors
Yeah.
and combinations and different genres that we can incorporate this into in your line. So I'm super excited to extend on this line.
Yeah, and I think in one of those, the sour blue raz, what we looked at after we did the first round of Pez stuff with you guys is moving into the Pez sours, right? Which is a whole nother thing, because sour candy is such a big thing the last year or two in our business, right? It's like everyone did candy flavors, and then they sort of sour became like the thing. So I think migrating to Pez sours will like that second layer this year for us. And then we have other license deals on the table for next year, which will include proteins and some other stuff. So I'm excited about that stuff.
We should have done Pez puckers next time. Next time. But
No, I'm excited about it. I think it's been a cool thing for us. And interestingly enough, and you guys see this probably from a larger scale, because you're looking at so many brands doing collab deals that you guys produce. But for us, it's opening doors because people see that these other CPG brands, they see what we're doing with Pez, and they become interested. Oh, wow, those VMI guys can really turn it on. Oh, wow, they did a lot of flavors. Oh, wow, they have multiple consumption formats. So it became a sort of a selling point for us, right? Like, look what we can do with this opportunity. So we've had a lot of outreach a sort of inbound to us from brands that want to license with us, which really wasn't the case before, right? Because we hadn't done it before. But if you go out and prove yourself, like any other business,
It's amazing. Now they want to do
yeah,
business
now,
with you.
yeah.
It's knocking on the door.
You know what? It's funny, man. I say this all the time. I do reels and stories and stuff about this all the time. But like, I really do remember like every no that we ever got, and it's like such a weird thing, right? But you're so appreciative of the yeses and the people want to work with you. But over time, and there was a couple licensed brands that we really wanted to work with before Pez that it didn't come to fruition. They were on our list, and we talked to them. But you remember the no's because so many of the no's over time, later on, they want to work with you.
Sure.
So it's an interesting thing for me. I really, I got a list of those that I don't forget. So
No, that's great. We remember those days too when brands would say no, 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 and fast forward years later, it's a completely different story. But it's truly humbling because if you do good, you do right, you do what you say you're going to do, it's going to end up coming back to you.
100%. You earn it. It comes back around if you earn it. No
So it's
question.
opened up a lot of doors, the collaboration deal then with Pez for you.
You know what, it has, and again, thanks to you, we really pushed on the GNC franchise channel this year. It's a channel we had never sold to, and we sort of used Pez as a foot in the door to say, hey, we've got some great products that are in the market. We speak to your customer already in different retail outlets, but we now have a big time collab that can get us in the door. And GNC franchise actually had some Pez collab items from the prior brand that had it. And so it was actually really great timing. And again, thanks for Don on timing. He had sort of pushed us on the GNC channel. Nobody knows it better. And I think we were really lucky to, again, timing, say, well, we've got the Pez piece. It's opening doors. We have multiple consumption formats. We have all these channels that we sell into, good retail diversity. But here's a channel we don't tap into. And once we tapped into that network, the last 60 to 90 days have been awesome for us to build those relationships, to leverage the license, right? And say, hey, we've got Pez in multiple items that you sell in your stores that we can provide, to the point where we're actually looking at doing some exclusive stuff for GNC franchise. So yeah, it's opened up so many new doors and almost new channels, right? New channels of business we were never in. And I think that's what it takes today in the business, right? You've got to make great products. You've got to not make mistakes. You've got to have cool labels. You've got to have a license. The list of things you need to do as a brand to be great is really long, and you've got to be good at all of them. And so I think that's what the customer is demanding, and that's where the market's at. And I think it took us a long time to get there, but I think we played our cards right, and we sort of earned it the hard way. But for sure, doing the license collabs has opened up doors we probably never would have had open so fast.
Yeah, and to back on what you were just saying with labels, I mean, over the years, what you guys have done back then to now,
Looks
it's
amazing
been
packaging.
amazing. Yeah,
We have been
graphics,
so
the
lucky.
design work, your design team.
Is
that Dre?
Yeah, so
Dre's been
Dre
killing
Sierra, Dre is an awesome dude, and he's been in the business a long time, and a lot of us, he started in retail, and he had been on the brand side of the business, and he's just such a good person, and he's so passionate. And it's hard to find the guys that, in any business, hard worker, passionate, and they love what they do. So, so you got to find that kind of mix. And Dre and I talked for a long time about how do we work together? How do we eventually? And so fast forward about a year and a half ago, we were able to get Dre on our team, and he has done things for us as a business. And we've had a lot of great employees, some with us still today, some not. And people bring different things to the table at different points in your business, right? You guys know that better than anybody. But Dre brought a sort of a talent and a uniqueness and a style that we had never had before and always needed. It was a real hole in our business to be great. And we had been colorful on shelf. We had been descriptive on shelf. We had never been cool on shelf. And today, I'm really proud, and not just of the Pez labels. I have people for the first time in 10 or 12 years, hey man, those labels are unbelievable. Unsolicited feedback from people that don't know Dre.
Protein labels are completely different.
Yeah, so it's a really, you get nervous to take a different direction, but for us, it's exciting because it's rewarding when people give you unsolicited positive feedback, just unwarranted, unsolicited. We have never had such a cool look, and it makes me feel good because it's like, wow, we never had that cool factor that you always want to have, and we feel like we were doing all the other things. We just couldn't get over that hump. And within a couple of months, Dre had started turning things on and changing stuff, and it was wild. And, sort of fast forward, if we're wearing our sales hat, we look at some of the numbers and the sales data and sell-through data we get from retail partners and distribution partners. And the crazy thing is, the SKUs that he would change the label, you would see velocity increases within 60, 90 days. It's wild.
Wow.
And it was almost hard to pinpoint at first because you're like, wow, is that the label? Is that marketing? And then SKU by SKU, just those, and it would, nothing else we're doing. So,
Oh yeah, well there was
Yeah.
a time for where week by week he would be asking us for all the current updated supplement
Yeah.
facts panels, and we're like, why? What's going on? He's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're rebranding, we're doing all this new design work. So yeah, he literally took every single different genre and just started doing
Yeah.
all this amazing new graphic design.
he actually asked me, he's like, they're not going to think anything weird, right? He's like, just,
No, not
I was
at
like,
all.
just tell Dimitri and Alfred and those guys and Jesse that we're rebranding. We're not moving business. But
The old rebranding story. I've heard that one before.
So,
Uncle Joe gets really worried when he hears that.
so no, and you know what? Part of making Dre's job easier,
Yeah.
a challenge we had in the past as a growing brand, and you don't have enough people in the right seats, but we never had somebody that could be a great go-between between manufacturers and our in-house people. And I was ended up being that go-between, but you kind of get stuck in the business instead of growing the business. And having a guy like Dre, who's not only talented enough to make unbelievable labels, he's an artist, honestly. And I'm so proud that we have him, but I'm happy for him because he gets to do what he loves. But he can go do that because he has the business sense, the social skills to talk to your team, and he doesn't need me. And so that has been such a time saver for me. Again, finding those people that they're talented, but you got to do this, this, and this. Oh, they're talented and they're passionate, but they don't want to do this. We've been really lucky with a few people, even our national sales manager, Brandon, same thing, but Dre has brought a thing to our business we never had before, and it's almost irreplaceable. So I hope he watches this at some point.
He's a gem. Don't lose
yeah.
him. I don't know where he came
Yeah.
before, but I'm glad where
Yeah.
he landed today.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. same.
718-848-8144, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Dre did. I will give a shout out to Steve Calabrese at Natural Body.
I think that's his phone number. I used to call it a lot.
That is the store phone.
About 3 decades ago.
Yeah.
Look at this. So I just pulled up the very first PO that we ever got from VMI.
How do you even have that?
I got everything, man.
Yeah.
September 8th, 2020.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly 5 years ago yesterday.
Wow.
And the first PO
It's a good thing we're
was-
doing this today. I didn't
I'm telling
realize
you,
that. I
look at
should know that.
It's kind of
Arena
funny how it
XD,
started, too.
and then
I didn't
little
know
by
that.
little-
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah, little by little. And then
Wow.
we ended up getting to your protein.
And Frank missed out on the podcast.
He did.
5-year anniversary.
Poor Frank.
Yeah, no, he's honestly, he's holding it down.
Holding down the fort.
Yeah, you guys have a great thing going. I mean, it's like Batman and Robin. You
It's
guys
hard to-
complement each other in ways that, he's in the office a lot, it seems like. You're
Yeah.
out on the street a lot, pounding on the pavement. Like, Eric and myself are the same with that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
works out really, really well.
You know what? Because you got to find someone that you not only trust and you can bond with, but that's willing to do the stuff you don't want to do, and vice versa.
Yep.
And I found early on we both had a lot of similar talents. We both in sales, sort of, right? But Frank has a much better headset about the in-warehouse, operational, financial. He's really gotten so good at it over the years. And obviously he scaled his last business with his partners before Lone Star sold to an equity group. So he's got that experience. But it allows me to go out and do a lot of the sales and marketing stuff that I'm passionate about, and sort of preaching the brand and being able to meet customers. And it's honestly, it's been great. I think we're lucky to have what we have and have built what we've built. And we were talking literally 2 days ago before I came out here, and it's interesting. I actually just feel like we're just getting started, and it's easy to say that when you feel like you're winning. I don't even know that we're winning. I feel like we've just done a good job to get a good brand to a good place, doing the right thing. And I feel like if you do the right thing long enough, it's cumulative. And so I don't know if we're winning or not winning, but I know we're doing the right thing.
You're winning.
And I think it's been a lot of fun to do, and nobody else I do it with. But happy anniversary to us for 5 years of working together.
I know, right?
And many, many more. And I'm sure while we're sitting here, I've gotten about 10 requests from other manufacturers that I will not respond to. No, and I think
We appreciate that.
yeah. You can put that on the podcast. You know what? It's nothing I wouldn't tell them. This isn't things I don't tell.
Let's just say when there's blood in the water.
I'm very honest with a lot of the people we work with. I tell customers when we can't do it. I tell employees when it's not going to happen. We're not going to hit a deadline and we got to pivot. And I tell manufacturers, I appreciate it. Thank you. Right now, you're not representing a need I have, and I'm not looking to move the business. And it's hard to have some of those conversations, and I feel like as you get older, you try not to have too many of them too long, so you don't want to waste time, but you want to be respectful of people. We were all in sales. We started somewhere trying to get business. But I tell people I don't have a reason to move, and I wouldn't even if I did. And I think a lot of them, because I kind of give the same answer, you kind of just hone in on it's relationship. I know I can rely on Simpson for every need that I have, and the needs that we have as a brand, you guys are able to achieve all those and then some. And so for me, even if we didn't have this personal relationship, it's a great business relationship. To me, the personal relationship is gravy, just being honest. And so I try to tell people that, like, no, I wouldn't move it. And I've worked with 20 manufacturers in the last 10 years. And this is probably the longest stretch where I'm just not moving stuff. And I think there's a lot of brands out there that do stuff like that, and everyone's got their own reasons for making those decisions, whether it's price or shipping location or whatever. To me, this is gravy. The business part, you've got to be able to nail that down. And we've never worked with a manufacturer that's done all the things we've needed, but also been as buttoned up. And I think that's hard to find, right? So, and kudos to you guys for building that. I think you have a great team. And listen, it's rewarding for me because what you guys have built is a benefit for me. It's great being a customer and working together, but it's actually helped us build our business. And so I give you guys all the credit that is due, because we would not be able to achieve a lot of the things that we do. Hit deadlines. This FDM account needs this flavor by this date. We've got to change this label. The stuff we've done with you guys, I think, is largely thanks to you guys being able to make those pivots for us. So
Glad to do it.
I think that's part of the, and I feel like our retail partners feel like we're doing that for them. So it's, that whole chain of events between all of us. Yeah. Right. They say, okay, we can cut it in. I've got to turn around and get the label to you. You're able to, those things mean everything, because 5 years later, now look at how much business we're doing with account X or whatever channel it is. Right. So, it's been a lot of fun, and to many years more.
Many more.
Yeah. I didn't know it was our 5-year anniversary. This is exciting.
I'm going to go back and double check that, because I thought we started business doing it before 2020, but maybe that's accurate.
That sounds close.
I'm going to look it up on my computer. It
sounds close. I would have said it was before, but it sounds,
might be.
It sounds close.
I'll confirm.
So now, since you have these approval codes, when did you get them, the approval codes?
You know what? So we got approved with codes for GNC in probably May.
Okay.
We did the GNC Franchise Global Convention in June, I want to say. So it's been maybe 60, 90 days of getting live. I think we've been lucky. We, again, present all the documentation, the insurance, the item forms, leveraging relationships with some existing franchisees. Again, thanks to you, right? But I think doing all those right things, GNC was like, yeah, we could do that. They felt there was a level of comfort because we brought not only, hey, we're an existing brand with a nice bandwidth, and we have a lot of items, and we're in a lot of places, and we're not a startup, but we had everything prepared that they needed. And so we were real lucky out of the gate. We've got, let's say, 10, 12 SKUs approved with GNC in the first couple weeks. Fast forward to the GNC convention, we have 21 SKUs approved.
Wow.
So I was actually talking to a GNC franchisee, Ryan DeCampo, on the way in, and he didn't even know that, right? And so it's kind of exciting for us to look at it and go, again, just the cumulative, doing enough of the right things, building the right systems, having the discipline to stick with it, pivot when you need to. It's not rocket science, but it's really doing enough of those right things and really grinding it out. And Dre's been a big piece helping handle that GNC business. That I think for us, it's going to be a big channel for us going into 2026. We've got a lot of things sort of built in that pipeline for them, but having 21 SKUs approved as a new brand is really unheard of for that channel. So super proud of that. And I think the Pez license and working with you guys are sort of factors that contribute. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a big one for us next year.
Are you guys focused on the international front as well too?
You know what? That's a great question. I think a lot of brands are good at international. We have never been, because we've never had anybody dedicated to it. And it becomes a resource thing, right? Like, where do you focus your business? Frank and I have, as much as we sort of preach channel diversity and okay, we have a beverage we sell in the gym channel. We have these items in the grocery channel. We have these items for the GNC franchise channel, so on and so forth. International has always been that secondary or tertiary tier where we're like, we have some inbound requests. We have partners in a handful of countries. We've sold into 10, 12, 14 different countries over time. But developing those long-term relationships, you need somebody managing that. And we haven't had that. And we've looked at a few people. There's actually one I'm talking to right now in the business. He's a great guy. But I think we need somebody to sort of sit on that and be that guy. And we're probably at that point. I think we have enough inbound today. If I had to be honest, I would say a lot of the things with label changes and flavor expansions and even the Pez license, things that have sort of put a spotlight on the brand in the last 12 to 18 months, maybe 24 months, that's where we've gotten more international. So I would say now is probably a time for us to look at that channel. Before that, it was just never, it wouldn't have been good for us to focus on that. Too many regulatory hurdles and shipping hurdles and pricing hurdles and exchange rates. So international will be something we look at for 26. But to date, it's just been a lot of inbound, having good partners. And we have some great ones, right? I've got a great friend in Trinidad and Tobago, Body by Imran. He's a great friend, and he's been a customer of mine since I started.
He's
Literally since we
double
started.
OG legend in the game.
He is a legend in the game. And so there's guys like that you develop relationships with where you can long-term partners, right? Kind of like you guys. But international will be a big piece for us next year. I think some of those global walls are coming down and people want American brands as always. I think COVID kind of changed that a little bit, and now it's back. So we'll certainly look at international for next year as a big piece. But for us right now, it's just growing domestic. I think we've put a lot of focus going into Q4 and into next year into our Amazon and our TikTok business. Just focusing on continuing to grow our e-com without being price driven. We want to be great products, and you certainly want to provide value for the customer, but we want to focus on how do we market our products, explain our products, educate our products, advertise our products without devaluing them. And that's hard to do on Amazon and TikTok. And because we're a retail-driven brand, we don't want to avoid those channels. We actually have a very, very good Amazon business, but it's somehow being in a position where you can support your retailers, have nice high online prices where the retailers know they're not going to get undercut, but also having a sustainable e-commerce business. And so we've had a very, very strong Amazon presence for a number of years, and TikTok is sort of coming into that fold now with our D2C and our website. So those e-com and D2C channels are something we're going to look at for 26 as well. And we've got some eggs put into that basket for Q4, but that's sort of directionally what we're looking at is sort of building out that D2C piece as we move forward. We've got a great content team, a social team in-house. Actually, our social media manager, Pat, is fantastic. He was at another CPG company for a number of years, and he has totally changed our social.
Your content's amazing.
Yeah,
It was not for a number of years.
Everything.
It was me doing bad educational videos with a cheap camera.
They were great.
Yeah, no, and you know,
started.
you have to start somewhere, right? And you buy a mic and you get on there, and content is everything. And I look back, and it's like we had to do that. It's better than nothing, but having Pat today, putting the right players on the field, right? We talk about this behind the scenes all the time, right?
Absolutely.
But like we have our national sales manager, Brandon. He has more industry experience than me and Frank. He's been in the game a long time. He knows everybody. He's organized. He brings a lot of this sales tools and skills that Frank and I don't have and can't really pivot to. And so it's putting a player in place and on the field in a position we never had filled properly. And then we brought Dre in right after that, and he filled a position we couldn't even think we could do. And then we got Pat, and it was kind of like, wow, this trifecta. Now we've got the branding, we've got the sales guy, we've got the social media piece. So having those guys and guys that work together, right? Then you have a team. You don't have three individually good players, you've got a team. And we have other great guys behind that. We have in-house videography and warehouse guys and all that stuff. But those three guys coming together and being able to work together and talk and have different opinions and still create has been huge for us. So that looking at the D2C piece and growing the e-com for next year, our social has been a big factor there. We've now have more ambassadors, almost 2 to 1 than we've ever had in history. It's actually kind of wild. So for us looking at it and saying, hey, I always talk about servicing the customer, servicing the community, making a great product. Because I started as a customer, I want to make great product. But our social team really looks at it and they want to build the community where we're not just servicing the community, but we're building our own community of people that want to be a part of something. Something bigger than themselves, something cool, something that not only brings value, but brings great stuff that helps people, right? Wouldn't you want to recommend something that someone had a better workout and recovered better? And so that mentality from the social piece, it's not just putting up a good piece of content, it's building a community. And so we've been super lucky to have a team that's coming together and saying, wow, we can actually do this, and we're all on the same page. So knock on wood, but yeah, it's been a really fun coming together of the right people as we've sort of morphed the brand. Super exciting times.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Protolite's doing good for you,
You know what? Yeah. So today,
even with all the protein.
Today
nonsense
we will
going on?
launch at Simpson Labs our new flavor, chocolate mint. One thing I want to say is kudos to you guys. We do inclusions in our proteins, and I feel like we were one of the first brands to do inclusions in the business. And I think for us, it was almost this
Nice
is it right
hands.
here.
Nice hands.
And what's interesting is I think we were one of the first brands to do inclusions in our business. And after we did, a lot of brands hopped on that bandwagon. This is the new label look from Dre. Isn't
Packaging
that
looks
unbelievable, right?
fantastic.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
And so we're going to end up migrating all Protolites to this look over the next 6 months, maybe less. But we actually have done some dual inclusion products with you, which I am sure other brands will now try to tap into once they watch this and then say that they invented it. But I think Eric Simpson came up with the idea of dual inclusions.
You heard it here first.
I think
You
we
heard it
did
here
3,
first.
One of them.
Tom
One of them
Reilly.
we did
It was
3.
no, we did chocolate chips and freeze-dried strawberries.
That's right. Vision meets innovation.
That's right. Vision does mean innovation. You know what? And it's funny because it's like kind of a corny thing. I always thought acronyms would be the thing. So many brands had acronyms back in the day, but I really wanted it to stand for something that mattered. I think there were acronym brands from years ago that didn't really mean anything. They stood for something, but it didn't stand for something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like vision meets innovation is a statement people can kind of, it's almost like you have to be thoughtful about that. What does that mean to you? And for me, it didn't mean we have to use an ingredient from Africa no one's ever heard of. I think you can innovate in different ways. And I think it's making a product, does it have multiple values in it? Does it have, dual inclusions? Nobody had done that. There were people with similar flavors with no inclusions or one inclusion. So I thought we started the inclusion game probably 7 or 8 years ago, but as a brand, I'm proud to say we've done some unique stuff with you guys from a flavor perspective with those inclusions. And we did our first dual inclusion powder with you guys 2 years ago, chocolate covered strawberries. And
Valentine's Day.
we have another one, dual inclusion, coming with you possibly before the end of the year that I won't announce yet. But chocolate mint with chocolate chips will be available later this week or early next week. It's running today at Simpson Labs. We'll have some content of it today, but no, it's exciting stuff. Protolite for us, as much as the protein game is just crazy demand. Everyone's putting protein in
Even with
everything,
the prices.
and pricing is a challenge. Supply is a challenge. I don't think you can not have protein. I think you have to have it as a brand. And I think for us, we're proud to have made a protein that I think we innovated. We were ahead of hydration and digestion. We made Protolite 10 years ago, legacy SKU for us, right behind KXR. And when we made it, we said, gosh, we've got to have something that is different, or we can't have legs to stand
And
on.
you haven't deviated from that. It's the same.
We have had Protolite has been the
now.
exact same thing, and so customers know. I'm sure other brands know. Some people that have tried to do what we're doing, but it is Digestab enzymes for digestion and pharmaceutical grade electrolytes from Albion, Trax Minerals. And so we looked at it and said, well, what are two things that matter to people? And this is 10 years ago. And to me, it was digestion and hydration, just as an athlete, just as a consumer. And this was before hydration was really hot, right? So today, I think we have something where we can say, hey, we were already doing that, and we've got the best stuff in it. And also, I feel like pretty clean stuff. We're a brand that tries to avoid, additional ingredients and fillers as a brand in most of our products, right? And thanks to you guys, we're taking out all the artificial
They're all
colors.
gone.
So
They've all been eliminated.
we are artificial color free, and I think for us, it's just part of the evolution of our brand, right? We've sort of said, okay, if we're going to put our big boy pants on and really try and scale this thing, we've got to build the community behind us to do it, but we've got to have stuff that's going to be cool that people want to buy and get involved with. And so whether it's the new labels, whether it's the inclusions, whether it's being artificial dye free, these are the things you have to do if you want to evolve and grow. And we're trying to do them. And thanks to you guys, we've been able to achieve most of that.
Well, we're happy to partner with
Yeah.
everyone.
Thanks to you guys. Happy 5-year anniversary, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is awesome.
So VMI, Vision Meets Innovation. Who
Yeah.
came up with that?
You know what? We did in the office. When we first were trying to come up with acronyms and names, that our legal entity is actually Performance Nutrition Formulators. I think I had visions of grandeur when we started, and we were going to do raw materials. We were going to do all these different things, and so you wanted to have like a generic sort of LLC. And I said, man, you know what? Pretty quickly we were like, we got to be a brand here. We got to stand for something. And I used to use the word vision a lot because I always felt like I had a vision to do something differently. And I think I catch a lot of flack for this in the industry because I'll always say I want to do things different. And then people are like, well, you're not using an ingredient no one's ever seen before, or, you get a lot of feedback. And what I say is the innovation, my vision for innovation is just making something that is best in class for whatever the reason for the consumer, the performance, the hydration, solving a problem. It doesn't have to be a unique ingredient or a dosage no one's ever seen before just to do that. For me, it's really got to be reason driven. And so I feel like we innovate in a way that's servicing the customer's need and solving a problem, regardless of if it sounds exciting and sexy on the bottle. And if I can deliver a great product that if someone tries and uses it and they will buy it again, I've won. And so I think that's been our win. And you'll hear Frank say this a lot when he's talking to customers and really anybody, even licensing collab companies, is we let the products do the talking. As much as we want to market and advertise, if you try it, you'll buy it and you'll come back for it. And for me, that just speaks to, hey, we made a really great product with great quality. I can stand on that. I can sleep at night. I know I made good stuff. Simpson Labs delivered the best flavor, the best quality. For me, if the customer tries that, if our ambassadors try that, I'm not selling them something that's not great. Mm-hmm. If the product's great, I'll win.
It'll sell itself.
Yeah.
Whether it's a buyer or end user, I love how you do the transparency with all the ingredients.
Yeah, we
show, and buyers love that, and users love that. They love seeing everything listed to the exact milligram dose, and it helps give you validity as a brand as well too. Because when people do proprietary blends, unfortunately, the consumer's not getting what they want, in my opinion.
You know what? I think you're totally right. It's interesting you say that. When we started, my mindset was a little different, and I'll tell you why. We've migrated to, I think, 100% transparency probably across the board, but when we started, we didn't do that. And the reason we didn't was not we were trying to hide something from the customer. Our formulas, you can look back, are almost entirely the same, gram weight and all that stuff. It was that I didn't want other brands taking my formulas.
Protecting the IP.
Same mentality. It's the old school mentality I had. Yeah. We had the same mentality for years.
Right?
And
what I realized, and Frank actually says this a lot too, he's like, they can have the playbook. Because if they could do it, they would have.
Yeah, you're the secret sauce. He's the secret sauce. Dre's the secret sauce. Brandon's
if
the
they
secret
could
sauce.
do what we could do,
that go into your sauce.
Correct. Yeah. So I realized after, you know what, 50 brands copied our caffeine blend, probably more. It didn't affect KXR sales. If people love the product and we're doing our job,
a lot of formulation back then.
Yeah.
That was the magic blend with the different forms of the caffeine.
That's exactly
that was
right.
the big pull, and Pro Sups was the first one to do it. Remember?
See, Pro Sups actually, we had KXR out before Hyde, and we had 3 caffeines. They had 2, and they were using, and then they went to 3, but they had caffeine and then Infinergy, and they added caffeine citrate. We're actually using it first. But the interesting thing is and I love those guys. TJ Ike, all those guys, even Brandon on my team was there. Yeah. They built a great company, no question. I mean, we can look back, but whoever did it first, I think is the reality is we were all looking in the same direction. And I worked with TJ for a while, and Ike's one of my best friends. I think those are guys I would look at in the business and say, hey, they were trying to do the same thing we were. And clearly they did a great job. But it was, okay, how do we maximize the results for the customer? How do we make something that is different? And people use the word best or better. Is it delivering is it solving the problem? Is it delivering what the customer wants? Is it a great product? And point of differentiation matters, not who's the best. There is no best. It's what does the customer want? Because there's 10 different customers with 10 different needs. But yeah, you're 100% right. That ingredient thing was a big deal. And that's why we didn't do proprietary blends for a while. And eventually we caught a lot of flack for it. I said, you know what? A lot of people are kind of saying stuff. And Frank had said, man, they can have the secret sauce. They're just not, the playbook doesn't matter. They can't do what we're doing. And that's held true. I think a lot of people have tried to do what we're doing, and a lot of those same people call me 2 or 3 years later.
And you were huge in distribution at one point. Huge in distribution.
Lone Star was the second largest sports nutrition distributor.
I used to talk to you about this all the time. I'm like, you should go direct.
Yeah.
You should go direct.
Yeah.
Now fast forward.
Yep. It's, the whole distribution and retail and direct, it's an interesting thing. I spent a lot of years in distribution at UNFI and then at Lone Star. And the guys, my business partner Frank and his business partners, John Hoffman, Chuck Lechman, Frank's dad, these guys mentors to me for sure. And I think I hold a near and dear spot for distribution because I think there's a great place for it. And there really are some great distribution partners. I think we had something special at Lone Star from a people perspective and a process perspective that is really unique and hard to find.
If you look at your roster, that team that you have, every single one of them's pretty much working for one of the biggest players right now.
Yes, a lot of them stayed in the business and got great
and doing a great
gigs.
job.
Yeah.
They're all really good at what they do.
100%. But that speaks volumes about the type of people they were and the type of business that we had built. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Murph. So it's interesting to see some of those people go out and really be successful, and you're happy for them because it shows that we had a great thing with great people, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the industry still. But I hold a near and dear spot for distribution, but I think we've evolved into, hey, at our scale and our size now, you have to have direct business. You have to understand what's the right direct business, what's not. And you have to support your distributors. If they have an account, they keep the account. If they need support with the account, you support them. If you're going to work with distributors, you work with distributors. And I always felt like the brands that didn't work with us didn't understand we don't need all the business. But if you're a distributor, the business that you service, you should get supported on.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a double-edged sword, a two-way street, if you will. We've been really well versed in navigating that, I think, and I'm super thankful for our distribution partners. We have several of them: Muscle Foods, KeHE, Sport Life, just awesome partners, right? A lot of good people that have helped us scale the business. But it's having the right process to work with each of them. What do they need as a support? What do we do? Are we going to shows with them? Are we visiting accounts with them? Are we running specials with them? And then realizing, hey, you know what? They don't service this section of business. We're going to take that direct. And in some cases, there's business you walk away from, direct or otherwise. So I think we've been real lucky to sort of have that viewpoint and say, hey, we worked in distribution, but we know how to sell direct. We have these different experiences that have allowed us to kind of look at the business a little differently. Because I think there's a lot of people, and I post about this a lot on LinkedIn, that don't understand distribution and then knock it later. And they're like, wow, the distributor has fees. The distributor, they didn't tell me this. They didn't tell me that. It's like any other business. If you're going to get in bed with somebody, you've got to know what their requirements are. And if you don't, that's your fault, not theirs, right? So I think, distribution is so underrated and undervalued, but knowing how to work with them and when you need not to. And so, we've been super blessed to be able to navigate that. We have a great book of direct business, but we actually do a majority of our retail business through distribution, one channel or another. Because, listen, logistically, they're in different places that we can't get to. They're holding receivables. Distributors just have a great value. So knowing how to work with them, how to support them, and when is really the key. So we've been real lucky from that perspective. And I still get a lot of calls from other brands. Hey, do you work with that distributor? How do they do this? There's a lot of that. And I try to help people, but it's one of those things. You've got to experience it. You've got to learn it. And you've got to earn it,
Yeah, you were at UNFI when I first originally met you.
Yep. I miss UNFI.
They were a monster.
When I was at UNFI, it was a huge learning curve for me. And it was a short time I was there before I went to Lone Star, but I really learned a lot, and it gave me a whole headset on distribution. First time I went to like regional shows, national shows.
You were the hungriest guy in every email, every meeting, every phone call. Like, you were the hungriest guy.
It really sparked a new level of excitement for me about the business that I didn't know I had. And I think that sort of segue to Lone Star was like, man, I think I'm going to do this forever. This is at some level. And I love it. Super lucky to be able to do it. Super lucky to be able to do it every day with Frank and our team.
And that was the first product, Protolite?
Protolite was one of our first SKUs. No, most of our legacy SKUs we don't make anymore. KXR and Protolite were two of our legacy SKUs, but our first couple of SKUs, we actually did all pills. It was just easier, faster.
Goddamn oblong square bottles.
We started with oblong pharmaceutical looking bottles.
Back. They like that man putting a bottle in.
The oblong bottle, man, is legendary. Just no one can label it.
Do we really need to use these oblong bottles?
Eric was very unhappy about that. Yeah, I made you use it for a while, and then you told me no eventually.
Couldn't do it.
But we did all pills for a while. We were actually a different brand when we started, right? We started our first SKU ever. I'll keep this short. It was actually a product called Super Slim 7. And it was
Super Slim 7.
Yeah,
Sounds
it was
talk to me here.
It was it was like a really soft generic fat burner, and I just felt like weight loss is a good margin category at the time. Weight loss and diet was still hydroxycut, Oxyelite, and we thought we could make a mainstream fat burner. And the reality is, I say this a lot too. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like as a brand and as I guess as a company and a business, you have to find your niche before you sell to everybody. If you can't sell to a few people, you can't sell to everybody. You've got to have a position. You've got to stand on a ledge and talk about it. And we sort of made a SKU that we thought would be for everybody, and it really was for nobody. And we got some traction on Amazon. We got some people to support it out of the gate. And then we just realized, wow, we can't be a mainstream fat burner company with no background, no history, no marketing. It just wasn't going to turn, right? And then we actually, for a few years, went real heavy into like hormonal stuff, anti-estrogen, PCTs, test boosters. We actually purchased the rights to Arimistane for a while, for a number of years. The Phenoflex Redefined Nutrition guys, awesome friends of ours, Brian and Hyun, we've known them a long time, and they sold it to us. And so that actually was a big turning point for us early on when we were trying to get the engines going, and we had that KXR issue with the prior name, and we got Arimistane, and we were able to sell a lot of anti-estrogen, PCT, test booster type products for a number of years. That was our bread and butter for probably 2 years. And so I think that was one of those early segues you find where you're like, you know, they say there's no elevators to the top, you got to take the stairs. That was the first couple of flights. Was, man, we had to lug some pills for a while. And people say pills pay the bills, but you got to sell a lot of pills. There was no protein dollars at that time. So Protolite actually it's a legacy SKU for us, probably 10 years old now, but at the beginning, we had to sell a lot of pills. And then KXR got legs, and then Protolite came around, and those two became sort of our flagship, and we migrated away, and we sold the Arimistane license. But it was an interesting first couple of years trying to pivot from a real bad situation and leaning into a really niche category with sort of supplemental pro-hormone stuff, right? People are buying pro-hormones. They want an anti-estrogen. They want a PCT. They want a test booster. So, yeah, it worked, but it was an interesting time. So we saw a lot less of that stuff today. We've sort of grown out of that, but it was a fun time. I liked it.
So for the rest of the year, you have a lot of travel planned? Do you have any shows?
You know what? The Olympia is coming up. My team and I are talking
company?
about that now. Yeah. Supply side, I don't think we're going to go to. We're just kind of busy. I've actually had a lot of travel, and you travel more than anybody. But yeah, we were at a Crunch fitness meeting for one of the largest Crunch fitness groups in the country a couple weeks ago. They carry several flavors of our RTD. And then I was in Dallas to meet with one of our largest gym chain partners, and then to meet with one of our largest grocery chain customers. So I've had a lot of travel the last couple of months. So we'll see what the rest of the year holds, possibly the Olympia. But I think we're going to try and make real smart decisions about queuing up stuff for Q1. So probably a lot more in-office stuff. We have some guests coming into us during Q4. We try to host customers and manufacturers. We like hosting in Q4, taking people to New York City for the holiday season and stuff. So we try to stay back and try and have people come to us and show them our new facility. We just moved into our new facility 3-4 months ago.
Congratulations.
Third facility in 5 years.
Congrats.
Kind of exciting. Cool. And yeah, we're super proud, right? Like it's, you know, real estate in New York is real hard to get, especially commercial real estate for what we do. It's real expensive and space is limited. So super exciting, right? It's been actually game-changing for us to have enough space to not only foster the growth, but also just have a better operation, right? The space to be able to navigate the warehouse. And probably next month in October, we will be taking on additional square footage in that same building. So a little bit of growth for Q4. It's kind of exciting. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're super excited. So there's a lot of fun stuff, but I think it'll probably less travel in Q4, more home base, building out the new warehouse extension, and having people come to us, give them a tour of the new facility, have them sign the wall, and kind of show them around the city for the holidays. So should be fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff just queuing up for Q1.
If you need any help with the growth, I mean, we have plenty of fulfillment space over here for you. No
We-
problem at all.
you know what? We may need it.
You could do your West Coast fulfillment.
We may need it. Yeah, Simpson Labs does do fulfillment. We'll be here. No, you know what? I toured the fulfillment facility last time I was here. I toured it again this morning. Thank you. I do think we may look at that. I think that's logistically, I think a lot of brands don't understand how much shipping and logistics can hurt them. Not only time, but cost, right? You need the warehouse space, but then how long does it take you to get the product to the other side of the country?
From here to there to ship it all the way back here to the consumer.
Yeah. Correct.
It's a lot of cost.
Yeah. So we are looking at that, and I do think that's something we're going to have to do with you guys. But I do think a lot of brands get caught with that. It's a tough thing, right? Like they don't think about the warehousing and logistics part of it, and then when they start to try and scale, it's like, oh crap, that's expensive, you know. Yeah. So you got to kind of get that stuff in order. But fulfillment, maybe.
But we
Don Grace, always selling.
we greatly appreciate you coming out here today.
Yeah.
And actually, last night, after years of trying to get Tommy Guns over here, he finally got to his first Dodger game. with
Yes.
us,
He
so-
got to see the first pitch.
And he got to see the dub.
Yes.
Got to see the dub.
Not
too,
only
so-
did I get to see a win,
but that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
you know what?
I've seen a lot of stuff in my life.
I have never seen anyone I know throw out the first
There you
pitch
go.
of the game.
Yeah.
So
That was truly
Eric
humbling.
Simpson throwing out the first pitch.
That was
It
a
actually
humbling
was very
experience.
cool.
That
We were
was
talking
cool.
about it.
Yeah, that was great.
It's almost because I'm sure surreal for you and an awesome experience, but to be people sort of on the outside looking in, going, "Wow, I know that guy." You know, I said that video to like 10 people. You know, it's just kind of like, "What are you doing in
still
LA?"
haven't seen a lot of it, so.
You know, it's a fun, But so we've known each other so long, and you guys have been always so gracious to invite us to different events. But I've never been to a Dodger game. I was telling Don last night. I started my career, and even when I was at UNFI, I used to try and travel and hit a different stadium in every city.
Oh, there you go.
And after my daughter was born and we had the brand going, I kind of got away from it. And so it was really cool for me last night to get to Dodger Stadium because I'd never been.
Gotcha.
So thank you not only for having me,
our
but
pleasure. Our pleasure.
for an awesome time. You guys are always the
say
best
this to
hosts.
Eric all the time, Jesse. You know, behind every good man is even better woman. So we appreciate your wife for even letting you come
Yeah,
out.
she's
here with
gonna
your
love that you
travel
said that. I
schedule and
appreciate
stuff
my
like that because we know how busy your travel schedule is.
Yeah.
And
You know what? I think we all have that.
It came down to Saturday, right? Saturday, he was texting us. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I sent
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
message to Eric.
It was
I'm
a little
sending to you
iffy.
right now, and I'm like,
It was a little iffy.
It was
okay.
It was.
I
You know
didn't think
what?
it was going to happen. But
My
Well, I knew
wife
for
is a-
sure Frank was not coming.
Yeah.
I don't know
We
what
could
it
tell
is
him that.
with Frank's not coming, but
You know what? My wife is I think we all have our own. You have your own business relationships, your personal relationships, and for me, she has been so supportive really since I started that it's hard for me to not want to be home. You know, I want to be home with my wife and my daughter and spend time because I miss so much stuff.
Yeah.
But she is so awesome because she holds it down. She really does, just so supportive. So I hope she watches this. She may get through the first 5 minutes and stop, but if she gets to the end,
thank you.
Yeah,
We appreciate
Yes,
you very
absolutely.
much.
Christy,
We do.
honey, I love
We
you.
do.
Thank you.
We do.
No, and listen, it's been a lot of fun to be able. I did a video on this yesterday, but I feel like getting to that stage of being grateful for the business that we have, and instead of focusing on all those no's, you're like, wow, we get a lot of yeses. We have great partners. I'm in LA to go to a Dodgers game. Like, this is stuff people would love to do, you know. And there's friends in our neighborhood. Man, you travel a lot. Man, you get to go to a lot of functions. I'm like, well, I feel like I'm working, but you know, it is awesome because I think a lot of people in a lot of businesses don't get to do that kind of stuff and work with their friends and go to games and you know what I mean. So everyone's working hard, but for my wife to be able to allow me to do that and grow the brand, but also enjoy what I'm doing, it's awesome. You know, so lucky.
You've worked your whole life to get to this point, and I'm watching him on vacation for like 20 days. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
long vacation.
That's
That
when
was
you,
a
that's when
long
you that's when
vacation.
you know you have an amazing team of people behind you, and you're at a
Yeah.
good point in your career.
Yeah,
And the smile on your face does it all. Like,
it was fun. It
Yeah,
was fun.
I'm like,
priceless
is this guy
memories.
coming home?
We
Or-
got
You wouldn't
to-
change it for. I'm like, where's he next?
We got to 2 weeks, and our national sales manager Brandon texted me. He's like, "Man, are you still away?" Like he was actually, and he's great. He's like the most patient guy in the world. He's like, he couldn't believe it. He didn't know. He's like, "You still away?" He's like, "It seems like he's like, it seems like it's been a while, like in a positive way."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think that's the rewarding part, right? Is
Yes.
being able to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to turn it off for a little bit, which you never really turned it off, right? I worked, but I think it was for me to say, hey, I'm gonna spend some time with my family and actually be there, right? Like I
Present.
can't go to the office.
Yeah.
We were in another country.
It's good to know that you can actually leave and feel comfortable and confident that your team's taking care of everything
Yeah,
during
yeah.
your absence. So,
I think Frank was maybe a little nervous that I was gone so long.
Frankie,
I think we were a little bit more nervous.
Yeah. No, you know what? But having great partners on all fronts really matters, man. If you can work with the right people that will support you and you support them back, it goes so far because like the reality is you're never going to get that time back.
Right.
You know, so yes, thank you guys and thank Frank and thank my wife. It has been absolutely awesome. Yeah, I did a video on it yesterday. I was so grateful to just have the opportunity to do this kind of stuff. And not just do something you hate every day, man. Look at what we get
we're
to do
fortunate to all love
We're
what we
so
do.
fortunate.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing what you love with people you love to do it with on the highest level, and you're winning and you're accomplishing all these goals
It's
that
fantastic.
you've never
It's
done
unbelievable.
before.
Yeah.
But we all know it doesn't happen overnight. You
No,
know, people are like, oh, that must be nice.
no.
Oh, that must be
Do you
nice.
really get? Do you get that?
I
Because I
used
get
to.
it all the time.
I used to.
10
until I-
years
My wife
ago,
says don't say anything.
10 years ago, it was just like,
I
okay.
distance myself from those people. So.
Yeah, if I get someone that's like, it must be nice, I'm like, it must be someone I just met. Because if it's anybody I knew, I can't even answer that.
Yeah, yeah.
If I get a must be nice, I'm like, dude, no way, you just said that.
Yeah, it must have been nice.
You know what I mean? Like
40 hours. You know,
you're kidding,
must
right?
have been nice.
Yeah. No, I think that's that's a whole nother podcast. We'll do another day, but it's interesting because like people, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You just got to love what you do and be passionate about it. We've all had different jobs before we got into doing this, but like, if you really work hard at something you do and you provide value and you're helping people and you're doing your job and you're busting ass and you're working overtime, everyone should be proud of that, whatever your career is. But when there's people that like have that antithesis view, it's like, dude, I earned this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I don't need you to like congratulate me, but I don't need you to tell me must be nice. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. And that's
Amen.
That's a thing for me. But listen, and you know what too? I think working with guys like you guys, that's the mindset, right? You can get along with guys that appreciate because they've been on that journey. And you guys are a little further ahead in your careers and your lives, but like when you can relate to people and say, oh, yeah, I know where he's at. I did that. You know what I mean? As opposed to, oh, it must be nice. Or, oh, you know, I got a few of those when I was on vacation. Man, I didn't respond. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then when I got back, I did this whole post about it. Again, it's crazy, right? Like, you really should appreciate what you do, love what you do, find something that you love. But I did this whole post. I'm like, listen, you got to stop complaining. You got to stop. Just either change what you're doing, but stop trying to change what I'm doing. I'm here doing what I'm doing. I'm sure I've earned it. Like this, no way I didn't earn it. And so the people that don't have that mentality, I almost feel bad, you know, like, cause they're just never going to get there.
Just skating by.
Yeah. So not in this room.
No, sir.
Not at the Simpson Labs podcast room.
No, sir.
Earners in here. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Coming out.
Yeah, this was great.
And
listen,
I'll throw out the first pitch next time. You just let me know.
We got you. We're going to talk to Steinbrenner about that.
Yeah.
come out for the
No,
World
who's
Series
the
couple
owner for the
weeks?
Mets? I don't even know who is the owner for
What
the
does it
Mets.
matter? They suck.
Yeah.
I'm a Met fan.
We could probably definitely get you
They
out
do
there
suck.
then, for sure.
Brandon's laughing at that.
You might
They do
drive some
terrible.
traffic for him. You know?
I'm a Jet, Met, and Islander fan. My life couldn't have been worse.
Oh, my
You know?
God.
I had to stop watching sports just because of that.
The Jets look decent.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys.
Yeah. No comment. No, I just wanted to say thank you guys for the time, the hospitality, and honestly, the friendship. I would say partnership, but you guys are friends, and I appreciate it. It means a lot. I say that a lot, but this has been a lot of fun, and it has helped me get to where I'm at. So thank you both.
It's our pleasure, brother. Good seeing you as always.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, brother.
Later.
Keep it real, yo. Got to keep